This is motherfucking D'Lo Brown. You better motherfucking recognize that every time I see Camp Sammy Callihan, I want to punch him in his ugly ass face. You're watching Callihan Uncensored.
The person on this episode of Callihan Uncensored is someone that needs no introduction. Living legend, history maker, the one, the only, Mickie James.
Hell of an intro.
Got to do good intros. I've done so many interviews where people have just absolutely shit the bed. And speaking of shit, being able to say whatever you want, the whole shtick with Callihan Uncensored, it's unscripted. There's no script, and we can say whatever the fuck we want. So feel free. Say whatever you want, whatever's on your mind. One show on Impact Wrestling where we can do and say whatever we want.
I love it. That's awesome.
It's great. Whatever you want. So
that gig.
I don't even know how they ended up giving this to me. Like, Scott Demore hit me. Was like, "Yo, you want to have your own show?" I said, "Absolutely." They said, "It can be uncensored." I said, "You don't want it to be uncensored." They said, "No, sure, go ahead." So let's see how long we can actually do this interview series before it gets kicked off the air with Impact. That's my goal. How many episodes can we do until it actually gets kicked off?
Right.
So let's get right into things. Everyone's talking about it. You're a history maker. You just did the Royal Rumble. First person to ever walk into WWE as another champion for another major promotion. Wear the championship out. What's going on with that?
Oh man. I feel like I can kind of really celebrate it now because now it's done. I really didn't. I was like struggling to celebrate until it actually happened. Because as you know, anything could happen leading up to it. So it's really one of those things. Yeah, it's pretty damn exciting. It's pretty crazy and surreal.
When you really think about it, like counting down to the days of you actually being in the Royal Rumble, did you actually think you're going to be able to walk through that curtain down that aisle with the Impact World Knockouts Championship? Or did you think, oh, they're never going to let me do this? And going through the paces of what actually got to that moment, what was going through your head?
I felt like, yes, I was coming out to hardcore country and I was coming out with a championship because that was, you know, what we had talked about. That was what the deal was. So, I didn't feel, but you never know because people could forget conversations or anything like that. And, also there was, Charlotte was the champion and she entered herself in the Rumble as the champion. So there was that. And, but there's also the 24/7. Dana Brooke was in there as 24/7 knockout champion. So there was a bit of, I don't know if the championships are going to step on Charlotte entering herself in, the first person to ever enter herself in the Rumble as the champion. But, you know, I went out there with the championship, so it all worked out, and it looked good too. It looked good.
I'm not even gonna lie, I got chills watching it.
So good.
It's the first WWE pay-per-view I've watched in probably 2 years. Everyone likes the Rumble. Being a wrestling fan as a kid, Rumble was always a pay-per-view you looked forward to. There's always those surprises. You never know what's gonna happen.
Right.
When Hardcore Country hit.
Hardcore Country!
My entire household lost it because I wasn't expecting it. There is no way they're going to let her come out to Hardcore Country.
And I had a lot of that, and it started to seep in like, oh, they're never going to do it. But I felt in my heart, I was like, no, it's going to happen, and that's the way it's going to go, and it's going to be awesome. And I didn't want, but you don't want to celebrate until it actually happens, because I could get out there and they play the old music, or no, you can't go, we don't want the belt on TV, we changed our mind, or whatever. And then what would I have done in that moment? Because you know that stuff happens in wrestling all the time.
And the reaction, the pop.
Thank God. So I didn't want to, I was like, oh, I can't pre-celebrate. Like, this is such an amazing thing that it's going to happen and that it's about to happen. And I just pray that it still happens, you know?
Were you imagining that reaction? Sure. Impact Wrestling fan, TNA wrestling fans outside the WWE bubble, they know that's your theme music. It's been your theme music for what, over a decade at this point outside of WWE? Yeah. Did you think the WWE fans were going to react to it the way they did?
No. I was hoping that they were going to react. So because I always wanted to do Hardcore Country, that character at WWE. There was never the right opportunity or chance or whatever it was. And I think because they didn't really understand it, and also it wasn't their thing. Like, they knew me as Mickie James, the legend, you know? So that was the first time it was really seen in front of that audience. And you just never know how they're going to react. And I felt like there was going to be the hardcore Mickie James fans, the hardcore Impact fans, that were gonna know what it was. But I was so thankful. I was so thankful that they reacted the way they did. You know, like
possibly the biggest reaction of the night. And I'm not just saying that because you're here or we're doing this interview. It legitimately was. Everything that was on that card, going out and getting the reaction you do, just is. I hope it opens eyes to people in that corporation that everything, us both being there, you more than me, but there's a bubble and they live inside that bubble. And for something outside their bubble to get that sort of a reaction is a testament to how over the hardcore country Mickie James' character was. And there is a world outside of WWE, and you prove that.
Sure.
And that they had to take notice of that.
they had to. Well, they had to, and I mean, you know, what if they booed me out of the building? I think there was so many layers to.
You never know.
You never know. What if they did?
They're like, no, we don't want this. We don't want this at all.
Oh.
They wanted it though. They wanted it.
They did. They reacted, and then like it was layers to it, right? Because when you first come out, they couldn't really see, so then they popped for the hardcore country.
Hardcore country.
And then they popped when they realized that I come out with the belt, and then when they announced it, you know, it was layers to it, which was really cool. Because then I got to hold it up down at the bottom and then lay it down. And
I remember.
I dare somebody to touch it.
My phone. For days leading up to that, the entire Impact locker room was talking, is Mickie going to come out with the belt? Is she going to come out to hardcore country? Is it going to happen? I remember when you came out with the Impact World Knockouts Championship, you came out to hardcore country, my phone just blown up. Oh, she's doing it. 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 And it was one of those things of, I am diehard Impact Wrestling. I love being part of the roster. I love what we're doing right now, and seeing one of our own be able to do that. And in my opinion, cram it down everyone else's throat like that. That's the kind of feelings you want. That's the kind of things you want professional wrestling, at least from my stand.
It was groundbreaking and it was amazing. And you think about it, they could have really done that with anyone. And I was grateful that it was with me, you know. And I know people have come out. Dan Severn, what was that, in the 80s, and Jeff Jarrett, they've come out with the belts before. But in the modern era of wrestling, of where we are now, and all these quote unquote forbidden doors and all of these things. It's groundbreaking, and it was awesome. And I just wanted to make sure that I represented us as Impact Wrestling and the Knockouts Championship as best as I could, you know? But I think just to be able to get to that moment where, okay, it is going to be represented on a WWE platform in that space, and to be able to create, hopefully, an opening of door for more things like this to happen. But the idea in fans' heads that the possibilities are like fantasy booking of like champions versus champions in this thing that they really didn't think was feasible before. So that's a really cool part of it too. Plus, it just the energy there when I went, like, it was obviously it's a huge show because it's the Rumble, and Rumble's always one of my favorite pay-per-views too, for the same, like, all the things of like the surprises and the comebacks and the throwbacks, and it's just Ivory, right to censor Ivory, was always my favorite Ivory, so I popped huge for that.
And how sweet is she? She is a sweetheart. One of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life.
I know, the best. Like, she figured it out. She got it all right. She like moved to an island and has her own like little thing, and that's what she does. She just lives on an island, and I feel like if
I want to live on an island.
I want to live on
Why
an
can't
island.
I have my own island? That's what I want in life right now.
Same.
And
like,
looking,
got it all figured out then.
And not to switch the topic as much, but I don't think Ivory really gets the credit she deserves for everything she's done in this business. People don't realize she started out in Glow and went from Glow all the way up to WWE and went on past that, and legit is a staple for women's wrestling. Is one of the first women's wrestlers in that generation to really kick the boots off and go, no, we're professional wrestlers. And I think that helped change the entire landscape of women's wrestling in professional wrestling.
Right, no doubt. And I think this, like her coming back, she might have been the oldest woman to ever compete in the Rumble in the women's.
And she
world.
looked great. She looked great.
Incredible. Looked incredible. I'm like, what is your regimen? What is your? Oh, you live on an island. That's right. You're just living your best life, stress free every day.
That's what happens when you have that island life.
Yeah.
If I had island life, I feel like I'd look way better right now. Because the way I'm aging is I'm slowly aging into a big old foot right now, being out injured, not being able to do things. But if I had that island, that sunlight, if I didn't have this Ohio cold beating down my neck every day, maybe I'd look as glorious as she does right now.
Is it snow? Is there snow
It
there?
is snowing right now. It's so cold.
Oh, I hate it. I don't like the
Can't
cold.
deal with
I
it.
breathe below 70. I was meant for island life. That's
But
what
at the
I feel.
same point, when I lived in Florida, I bitched about that too. I was like, it's too hot. The humidity. I walk outdoors. I'm just like sticky and
bugs.
sweaty. I want
Okay.
seasons, and I get back to seasons, and I bitch about the seasons. Like, I just want like my air on the conditioned variety at all times.
Oh my God, yeah. That's so funny. Same.
So not to be a jerk, I am going to ask it because I feel like it's going through everyone's head. Your stuff sent to you in a trash bag. It went viral in the entire wrestling world, your tweet. From that moment to you walking out in the Royal Rumble, how'd that happen and what went through your mind? It was like, no, I'm going to do this. And is it going out on your own accord? Is it having that moment that you want it? Like what went through your mind when you got the phone call? Like, hey, I know we did you wrong, but you want to be in the Royal Rumble?
Yeah. And I think that, you know, I don't know. I felt like for me, it was the perfect way to kind of, instead of having the trash bag as the last thing, this ground-breaking freaking history-making moment could be the last thing. And I felt like I deserved that, but also the girl, because I felt like that trash bag, which I'm not sorry that I did it, that I posted it. Like, even if I posted it in my sarcastic whatever, I'm grateful because I felt like I got myself like that the 10 years before that, but when I got let go before. And it was just one of those things that I didn't even really recognize the optics on it because I've been in this crazy business for now 20 years, you know? So this is not the most offensive thing that I've seen in wrestling, you know?
100% not. 100%
you know, so
not.
it's just kind of like, on par. And the whole day, that day was insane for me anyway. And, but I hated it. I hated that the trash bag thing was the last thing. The last thing when people, you know, they remembered my career at WWE, the first thing they thought about was the trash bag thing, not WrestleMania at Trish, not Lita's retirement at, you know, Survivor Series, not, you know, the stuff with Michelle McCool and the Piggy James stuff even. Like, none of these, like, the stuff with Beth Phoenix or the Falls Count Anywhere match with Melina. It was the fucking trash bag, you know? And I was like, I'm grateful that I did it so nobody ever has to, like, look at themselves and think that, because it sucks to have that, like, just the optics on it alone. And at this point, it didn't hurt me like it did the first time when I got it because I legitimately took it to heart. Like, they think I'm trash. Whereas this time I'm just like, no, didn't think, you know, like,
100%.
you know, yeah. So then to have this opportunity to do it, and I'm sure a lot of people would say, well, you should have just told him, just hell no, you know, but
what does that do? And that's a detriment to your
does
character.
nothing.
Not to cut you off. That's a detriment to your character. You made straight up chicken salad out of chicken shit. You could have sat around for years and stewed on that and could have festered on it. You had every right to, but you did what people should in this professional wrestling industry. You took a terrible situation and you made it work, and you created something special that no one can ever take away from you, and possible will never be recreated in professional wrestling history. I did not have on my 2022 bingo card Impact Wrestling World Champion walking into another television company set as champion with championship, and you did that. No one can ever take that moment away from you.
No doubt. And I was very emotional going back because I didn't think that I would ever, like, after all of that, I was like, I have a black mark on me. Like, there's no way that they're gonna, like, I won't be back there for any of this stuff. Like, it's gonna take a while for this whole thing to heal, kind of thing. And yeah, and I just felt like it was unfair. It was unfair to my career to have that be like this, like, weird asterisk, you know, which, you know, but I don't regret posting about it because I do think that it caused a change within that thought process, because we often feel as independent contractors, we feel very dispensable and we feel very insecure, especially if you are very young and you've dedicated your whole life to this. And at that point, I'd been in developmental and WWE and all the things, and then you feel like you lost your dream, and you haven't already started thinking about, okay, the other things of what you're doing outside of wrestling. So this is everything. Like, it can be devastating for a lot of people. And I do think that mental health is very important. And I'm so glad that we're talking about it more than ever. But to the psyche of a 20-year-old losing their dream job of this is everything they've known since they got out of high school or college, and it's been amazing and a whirlwind, and now it all comes crashing down. Like, that one little thing, it can, you know, really alter the landscape for them on how they're feeling about themselves that day. And I think you just have to be more cognizant and aware of that as a person and as a company and all those things. So I think that it created a change, not just within but I think an awareness overall from all companies to go, like, we can't treat our talent this way. Like, they are human beings. This is not a machine, you know, even though your hat says.
I know. The irony. I think we said it right. Irony. But it's one of those things. I am a huge believer of everything happens for a reason. 100%. And if you wouldn't have left the original type, you never would have came to Impact Wrestling and set the country. Yeah, you never would have set the women's wrestling world on fire. Like you, Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, along with a bunch of other amazingly talented professional wrestlings, truly shaped what women's wrestling is right now. Like, women's wrestling right now is, I hate the term, like all males wrestling, women's wrestling. We're all professional wrestlers. Right. And right now, more than anything, especially at Impact Wrestling, we're on equal playing fields. For sure. Like, Impact Wrestling is not afraid to have women main event. They're not afraid to have women have the top storyline. They're not afraid to have the biggest person on the poster be a woman. I think it's been like that with Impact Wrestling for a while, but forever. If you never would have came, it may have never been like that.
Well, I don't know, because I think, you know, Gail and Kong were doing a lot of that stuff before I came over, and Lisa Tara was there when I first got let go. And I remember watching in the women's division, and you know, it was the crossing of eras too. So it was very much going into the Diva era at WWE, and the knockouts were killing it and allowed to do all of these different.
It added fuel to that fire.
Yeah, when I got to come over, and then we had the cage match and all these things that I didn't get to do, you know, I had it just, and they've been killing it. I feel like the knockouts were ahead of their time. They've been doing it since day one. The girls have been doing groundbreaking stuff like, you know, main eventing and hardcore matches and, you know, all the things. So it's cool to see that people become more aware of that. I know, because I think we have one of the strongest divisions right now. You put our division up against any
in the world, and it's like, it doesn't matter what company. Impact Wrestling's knockout division right now is astronomically better, in my opinion. I think the most variety and versatility of a roster right now is what Impact Wrestling has. Now you're back, you're Impact Wrestling World Knockouts champion.
I am.
You are. It's in the background, getting the plug. How does it feel, the generation today compared to the generation when you first came back to Impact Wrestling?
I don't know. You know, I feel like the locker room's always been hungry. It's just the game. I don't want to say that they're better than us, because, you know, I go back to that generation and I feel like I've been lucky enough to kind of stay in it and stay relevant.
And you can't compare it. That's like comparing LeBron James to Michael Jordan. You can't do it. They're great in their era. Like
there was incredible women in each era and each element that have like done really freaking cool stuff and made a shit ton of money and done really, you know what I mean, paved the way for all of us to do it. But I think that the women's wrestling today is better than it's ever been because of the allowance of things that we weren't able to do before without being seen as a novelty of, like, you know, even Glow sometimes when it was presented, or WOW, because it was an all women's promotion. Some of the matches were kind of campy, or the female wrestling wasn't up to par because it was more character driven, because it was more of like an LA way to shoot women's wrestling, right? So, and it was like a casted product where, and even the girls that worked there would have told you that, like, they were learning how to wrestle. You know, it's like, that's why that show Glow was so good, because it was based a lot of off reality. Only a few of the girls were actual, like, real wrestlers, you know, beforehand, not after, not when they started touring and stuff.
Absolutely.
Right.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but now, and two, women now are getting in because they see the possibilities of women headlining, from WrestleMania to all of these things. They think that it's a possibility as a viable career for them. So more women are getting into wrestling to be wrestlers, and not because of the guy that they're dating is into wrestling or is a wrestler, so she wants to be there and valet him, or, you know, just those kind of roles. Like, it's like women love that. There's so many women that are fans of the business that have gotten into the business because they actually love wrestling, and that's what they want to be, and not just the eye candy kind of thing.
100%. The newest generation, it's amazing to see what your generation, the next generation, really did to bring in that younger fan base, where it's not just about being eye candy. It's not about being objectified. It's about being looked at as an amazing athlete. Like, even though I know you hate her, you've been feuding her for months upon months upon months. You look at someone like Deonna Purrazzo, she's looked at as one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, not just one of the best women's technical wrestlers in the world, one of the absolute best technical wrestlers in the world. You watch her matches, you can see it. And I know you have your bad blood with her, but I can't help. It's one of those things with our roster. You look at so many different people are good at so many different styles, and it is an amazing time to be a wrestling fan. I am still a wrestling fan. Will always be a wrestling fan. Will always keep up with what's going on and what's current in professional wrestling. And it really is a golden era of professional wrestling. Once again, like, the past 5 years leading to now, is you look at each generation, what the wrestling boom is, what the wrestling boom is, what the wrestling boom is. Well, I think in the 2015s to now, women's wrestling be presented how it is has been a huge boom professional wrestling. Even in MMA, you look at someone like Ronda Rousey in MMA, fully capturing people's hearts and imagination. She was the top person in the UFC for so long, and it's the same thing in professional wrestling now.
And they strapped a rocket to her because she was drawing, and she was drawing money. And I think that was the common misconception, was that women don't draw money, but that was the one thing.
It's proven wrong.
Is that
it's proven wrong.
It was some of the highest rated segments, and even Vince Russo would say that. Like, the reason why he was putting the girls on during the crossovers, or for 2 segments, or, you know, they were getting 2 different types of matches, is because they got really good ratings, and for whatever reason. So you can't argue with that when it switches over, when you are a company and you're looking at the business aspect too. So that's just, you know, counting dollars and cents, though. I don't do that.
Hey, it's something we love, but the money's always going to be there. The money is always, there's always money behind that love. When you can do something you love and make money for it, that's a winning situation. And speaking of winning situations, speaking of what we do outside of here, I have to bring this up right before we got on this call, right before we got on this interview. I was like, oh, are you ready to do this? You said, I have to go clean the stables. So if anyone thinks the hardcore country is just a gimmick, no, that's you in real life. Like, please break that down. Like, what your normal day-to-day life is, not only being super mom, being legendary professional wrestler, but also having stables, and I'm guessing a fully functioning farm at this point.
Well, I wish it. Well, yeah. I mean, it backs right up to a quarter horse facility like this. It's an Arabian facility now, and it's a whole situation because my house is like 5 acres, and I have my 2 horses, and it side by sides with a equestrian facility. So I keep my horses on the equestrian facility so I can ride, but I literally walk to it out the backside, you know. And then I put a couple horses on my pastures over here. It's
living the dream. Living the dream. It's not a character. Hardcore country is real.
I love it so much, and but I do, every day that I'm home, I have to go down I clean the stalls. It's my bit of peace. And I don't mind it. I don't mind the smell. It gives me some time with the horses, and I get to brush them off and smell their necks, or go for a ride if I have time. I usually ride about once a week. But clean the stalls every day I'm home.
It's the little things of life. It's one of those things, like, we travel the world. we've had a certain life that only people can dream of, but what gives us the most pleasure is doing little things like that. Like I grew up around a horseback riding farm. I was a horseback riding instructor when I was younger, but I remember just simple things like that. The Death Machine has rode some horses in this time. I'm gonna have to next time I'm down in Nashville, I'm gonna have to come down to Horn. I usually rode with a saddle. I rode a little bit of barrel racing horses as well. Okay. I've ridden a couple Clydesdales in my life, which aren't very fun to ride, but I have rode Clydesdales.
I've never ridden a Clydesdale.
They hurt you. It's too much. It's too much. Like even with a saddle, you have to try to ride them bareback, because if you try to ride them with a saddle, it's just too much between. It's hard to sit like that for more than 5 minutes at a time.
I would love to go horseback riding with you.
We have to do it now. I probably haven't rode a horse at this point in like 7 years. And it's like one of those things, like, I'm like, I need to go ride horses. I've rode horses forever. I still know how to saddle a horse. I still know how to clean a horse. I still know how to put reins on a horse. Like it's something. So this is something we have in common, giving a little bit of knowledge to the watchers and listeners. No one, I don't think, would ever expect the Callihan Death Machine in the horses. I like horses.
I had no
idea. They do bite
that.
though. They do bite. They are badass animals. If you get bit by a horse, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh. I try not to get bit or kicked. But yeah, it's my bit of church, honestly. Like I feel like I could go riding for hours and just get lost. Like I don't have my phone. I'm just in the moment, right? Like so I can really think and just kind of enjoy and just be there instead of having to worry about all the other things. So that's why I think I love it so much. Plus it keeps me humble as I'm shoveling horse shit. Going, don't worry. I love you so much.
It's okay.
Poop away.
Well, I think I've taken your time enough tonight. I want to thank you for giving me this amount of time after you clean the stables, after you've done the Royal Rumble. You're going into next week's Impact Wrestling TV tapings. So before we get off here, what's the plans for Mickie James for the rest of 2022?
Well, I just hope to keep on winning. You know,
you've done a damn good job since you came back. You came back, you won the belt.
Keep winning at life in my matches, and live the dream, and keep the stalls clean, and be able to kick ass. You know,
I like it. Simple, to the point.
Yeah.
I thank you so much. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege. And next time, okay, I'm going to finish that some other time. I'm going to end it there. It'll be cut. I was going to say something that I forgot. And I was like,
next time we're going to go horseback. We're going to go galloping through the fields.
We will. Victory. See, now I'm going to have to keep this in because my fuck up. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm keeping in the fuck up. I'll keep in the fuck up for you because I appreciate you that so much. Thank you again. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Callihan Uncensored. Callihan Uncensored.